Hello and welcome everybody to a Wednesday. It is Hump Day here in Canada. And this is the day of the week that I picked to go ahead and finish out the last two series reviews that we're doing here on the ChattyBloggerMS channel. Today we're looking at both Season 2 of both Get Smart and TOS. And we're looking at the episodes, Episode 19 and Episode 20 of each. And I know I said I would start at 12:15, but I just wanted to go ahead get started now because I don't know what's going on. We've been having some computer issues, connection issues downstairs. Somebody's messing with shit. So we have to be careful, you know. If anything goes out, then we'll have to, start where we left off or whatever. But hopefully we can get through this and and get stuff done. All right, so let's get right to it then. And welcome anybody that comes in. Welcome. All right, so starting with Get Smart. Remember that ran from 1965 to 1970 for 5 seasons. It won 7 Primetime Emmy Awards. Okay, so we're going into season 2. And like I said, we're looking at episodes 19 and 20. The first one is called The Mummy, just like it sounds, The Mummy. And then the other one, stop that, honey. And then the other one is called The Girls from KAOS. Okay, so in the first episode, which aired on Saturday, I need my glasses, don't I? Hold on a sec. A lot of small lettering. Sorry about that. Okay, let me get my glasses out here. Okay. There we go. Okay, so using mummy cases, KAOS is smuggling agents into the United States. This aired on Saturday, February 4th, 1967. Over 188 people have seen this episode, and they rank it a 7.7 out of 10. So if you raise that up, that's to a B. Yeah, so I give it a B grade also. All right, so let's take a look at this first. Okay, the director of this episode was Earl Bellamy. And Mel Brooks, even though he didn't work on this episode, I think he was an executive producer for it. But Buck Henry did work on it as a writer, and Bud Grossman. Alrighty. And of course, it featured your usual 3: Don Adams as Maxwell Smart, Agent 86, Barbara Feldon as Agent 99, in credit only for this episode, and Edward Platt as Chief. Okay, Agent 13 came in also, and he's David Ketchum. And what we're going to look at is Lisa Gay, that's Gaye, as Miss Smith, and Mark London as Agent 24. Cool. Oh, come on, honey, stop. I love you too. Moon Pie, stop. Stop meowing. Okay. All right. Okay, so in trivia, correct, Barbara Feldon does not appear in this episode. In credit only. 86 and 24 use the following double countersign. Countdown, ladies, sing this song. Do-da, do-da. Countdown racetrack 5 miles long. Oh, do-da day. The title is derived from the movie The Mummy from 1932, which I believe featured Boris Karloff as the mummy. Okay. There is only one error, and it says it's in geography. The building shown in the establishing shot of what is supposed to be the art museum is actually the U.S. Supreme Court building in Washington, D.C. Very cool. Alrighty. And, of course, the Camptown Races, which is uncredited, was originally written by Stephen Foster, and in this case it was performed by Mark London, who is Agent 24. Alrighty. So let's take a look at cast and crew. All right, and we'll look at Lisa Gay first. All right, Lisa Gay did pass away in 2016. She worked on soundtracks and she also was an actress. She was in a movie called Drums Across the River from 1954. She was born on March 6, 1935, in Denver, Colorado. Known for 2,000 Bedrooms in 1957, Hawaiian Eye, that old TV series in 1959, and How to Marry a Millionaire in 1957. She was married to one man, Bentley Clyde Ware, W-A-R-E. She died on July 14th, 2016, in Houston, Texas. She was 81 years old. And in 10,000 Bedrooms in 1957, she was Anna Martelli. In How to Marry a Millionaire in 1958 to 1959, that TV series, she was Gwen Kirby for 13 episodes. In Zorro, the TV series that featured Guy Williams as Zorro, she played Costanza in 1958 in an episode, season 1, episode 13, called The Fall of Monasterio. Nice. And then in Hawaiian Eye, that TV series, she appeared as a couple of different characters in 5 different episodes. That was from 1960 to 1963. The last thing she worked in was one episode, according to the IMDb background information, of The Mod Squad. And that is in 1970, where she played a character named Yolanda in an episode, season 2, episode 17, called A Town Called Sincere. So rest in peace, Miss Lisa Gay. All right. Now we'll take a look at Mark London, who takes the place of 99 in this episode, playing Agent 24. He was a writer, an actor, and he worked in the script and continuity department. He was born on September 30th, 1927, in Boston, Massachusetts. He was a writer and actor known for Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In in 1967, The Muppet Show in 1976, and Sinatra and Friends in 1977. He died on February 9th, 2010, in Hyannis, Massachusetts. He was 82 years old. He did win 1 Primetime Emmy. And for 99 episodes from 1968 to 1973 in the Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In TV series, he was a writer for that series. Awesome. In the TV special Sinatra and Friends in 1977, he was also wrote that TV special. And he was a writer for The Muppet Show for 22 episodes, Jim Henson's Muppets, of course, from 1976 to 1977. In the TV series of Get Smart, he played Agent 24 and twice, but he also played this character called Ashinaji. And let's see, he was in this one, season 2, episode 19, The Mummy, as Agent 24. In season 2, episode 25, that we'll do later, he was in an episode called How to Succeed in the Spy Business Without Really Trying. And then he was the Ashkenazi in season 2, episode 28, called A Man Called Smart, part 1. So 3 episodes of Get Smart. We did lose him. The last thing he did work on, of course, he was in a video as the writer, as Mark London. And It's the Muppets, Meet the Muppets, a video from 1993. There we go. So he worked with the Muppets. He was a very cool guy, apparently. Loved kids. Okay. So that's all about Mark London. All right. Now we're going to go ahead and take a look at the next episode. And we'll go back here real quick. Okay. Season 2, episode 20, which is called The Girls from KAOS. And Max is assigned to protect the winner of the Miss USA contest. This was directed by William Wired. And, of course, there was 3 different writers. So when it was getting too much for Mel Brooks and Buck Henry, sometimes you will see other writers that worked on the episodes. In this case, Joseph C. Cavella, Carol Cavella, so husband and wife, and then Arnie Sultan. And this got a 7.9 out of 10 from 211 people that have seen it so far. So, yes, we gave it a B as well. Okay. Now, in this episode, we're going to take a look at Virginia Ann Lee, who plays Miss Formosa, and we'll look at, let's see, we'll look at two ladies. So, Tisha Sterling, who plays Miss USA in this, and of course, the regular characters, Don Adams, Barbara Feldon, and Edward Platt. Now, in this episode, Barbara Feldon was again not in it. So, she was probably working on some other project at the time. Okay. Right. And this is the third episode in a row that Barbara Feldon does not appear in. And this title is from the TV series The Girl from U.N.C.L.E. in 1966, which starred Stephanie Powers. And in the last scene, Max is holding a restocked Marlin Camp carbine. Okay. And let's see. I don't believe there are any goofs in this episode. So we'll take a look here. Oh, it says there is. Let's take a look. Okay, there's just two factual errors. Now, when the KAOS agents are supposed to be listening in on Max and Tisha's conversation in the sitting room, they're actually on the other side of the bedroom wall, listening to the empty bedroom. And then Max and Tisha's suite at the Pageant Hotel is a one-bedroom suite. In 1960s America, it would have been a major scandal for Miss USA to be chaperoned by and stay alone in the same bedroom with an unrelated single man. But apparently that didn't bother him. Okay, no soundtracks. And of course, the filming and production was done at Paramount Studios there in Hollywood, Los Angeles. Same thing for the other episode as well. Okay, now we'll take a look at the cast and crew. As I said, we'll look at two of the ladies in the episode. One, of course, Tisha Sterling, and then the other one, Virginia Ann Lee. So let's look at Tisha. Okay, Tisha Sterling is an actress who also has worked on soundtrack before. She was in that cool movie back in 1968, Coogan's Bluff, which featured the great Clint Eastwood. Okay, so she was born on December 10th, 1944, in Los Angeles, California, and an actress known for, as I said, Coogan's Bluff in 1968, Village of the Giants in 1965 earlier, and The Whales of August in 1987. She was previously married to Lowell Baum, B-A-U-M. So right now, she is 80 years old. So she'll be 81 if she reaches December 10th. So, okay. And in Coogan's Bluff, she played Lenny Raven. That was the character name in 1968. And in 65, in The Village of the Giants, she played Jean. And in 1976, in The Killer Inside Me, she played Amy Stanton. And in The Whales of August in 1987, she played young Tisha. Okay. The last thing she worked on, according to background information, in 1999, she was in a movie called Breakfast of Champions, where she plays Beatrice Keedsler. Okay. That was her very last project so far. Okay. Well, I think she's retired by now. She is, 80 years old. So, so go figure, right? Yeah, absolutely. Okay. And now we'll look at Virginia Ann Lee, who plays Miss Formosa. Okay, Virginia Ann Lee is still alive. Cool. She's an actress, but also has worked on additional crew work and soundtrack. She was born on October 22nd, 1946, in Los Angeles, California. She is an actress known for Hillbillies in a Haunted House in 1967, Lost Horizon in 1973, and back in 1966, she was in that cool series called Dimension 5. She was born October 22nd, 1946, which means, let's see, in about a week from now, She'll turn the ripe old age of 79. But right now she's 78. Cool. In The Hillbillies in a Haunted House, she was Agent Ming Toy in 67. In Lost Horizon, she was the ritual wife, and that was in 73. And of course, she was in Get Smart and in Dimension 5, which is actually a movie back then in 1966, she was the mute girl. And according to our information, she appeared in 5 episodes of the TV series MASH from 1972 to 76. In season 1, she was in an episode called The Moose, where she played Young Hee, and that was in 72. And in 72, she was the singing geisha number 1, uncredited, in season 1, episode 9, called Henry, Please Come Home. In season 3, she appeared one time in Abyssinia Henry, 1975, where she was a Korean girl again, number 1, uncredited. Season 3, episode 24, that was. Then in season 4, episode 1, the very first episode of season 4, she was in Welcome to Korea, where she played a Korean daughter, uncredited. And finally, in season 5, episode 12, Exorcism, she played Kyung-ja in 76. Very cool. So that is Virginia Ann Lee. All right, cool. Okay, so we are done with episode 19 and 20 for the, and then let's see here, making sure I put episode 21 and 22 for both next week. Next week. There we go. So keep this thing with me. Okay. So we are done with Get Smart. Now let's go ahead and take a look at 19 and 20 for TOS. So we'll go here. Star Trek. Okay. Yeah, we're almost done with Star Trek, folks. We only have about 1 season and a half, pretty much, left. So, very cool. All right. Okay, the first episode here, then, on season 19 that we're looking at. And before we get started real quick, I see that Lizzie Armstrong, one of our best friends and our sister over there in Queensland, Australia. Hi, Mikey. Oh, yes, I remember The Whales in August. Yeah, great movie. Great movie. I like to Get Smart. Yeah, I love that, Lizzie. I did, yeah. Get Smart was one of my favorite spy genre. Man from U.N.C.L.E., Modesty Blaze, the 2 Flint movies that feature James Coburn. Great stuff. And, of course, I'm a diehard Bond fan. Worldwide fan club. Yeah, I love James Bond. So, it is so great to see you, Lizzie. It really is. Thank you so much for coming in. And we got the like and you're here. So awesome. Yeah. So this is the second part. These are the 2 episodes from TOS we're looking at today. So the first one we're looking at here is A Private Little War. And peaceful primitive peoples. Oh, and by the way, I'm sorry. I should have said that the other episode that I mentioned, The Girls from KAOS, came out, aired on February 11th, 1967. So I'm sorry, I should have said something on that. Okay, so here we go. Season 2, episode 19, A Private Little War, premiered on Friday, February 2nd, 1968. And then episode 20, Return to Tomorrow, premiered on the following Friday, February 9th, 1968. Now, in Private Little War, peaceful primitive peoples get caught up in the struggle between superpowers, with Kirk unhappily trying to restore the balance of power, which was disrupted by the Klingons. That got about a 6.8 out of 10, so about a C grade. I gave it a C+. I thought it was pretty cool. And then in Return to Tomorrow, the Enterprise is guided to a distant, long-dead world where survivors of an extremely ancient race, existing only as disembodied energy, desiring the bodies of Kirk, Spock, and astrobiologist Anne Mulhall so that they may live again. And that got a 7.4 out of 10. Yeah, so that also got a C plus from me. Yeah, because I just move it up one. So yeah, so both of them I got a C plus for you. Okay, and remember in the TOS reviews, we're not rating the goofs. Yeah, there's usually way too many. So, and then we're only doing the first 5 trivia, which are the most important facts. Okay, so the director was Mark Daniels, and Don Ingalls, along with Gene Roddenberry, wrote the episode. Of course, the usual cast of characters. I don't need to mention them because you know everybody. But Tyree was played by Michael Whitney, so we will look at him. And we'll also look at Krell, who was played by Ned Romero. Those are from the factions, the Yings and the Yangs. So, yeah. So we'll look at those 2 gentlemen today. Yeah, we'll even look at Nancy Kovac, who plays Nona. Yeah, we'll take a look at her as well. So 3 people for this one, since we're not doing the goofs. Okay, let's take a look at trivia here. Okay, the Mugato was called the Gumato in the original script, but DeForest Kelley kept mispronouncing it, so it was changed. The closing credits still named the creature as the Gumato, but he named it the Mugato. Okay. A scene was filmed of Nancy Kovac showering semi-nude, shot from the back, and put in the final cut presented to NBC. The purpose was to have standards and practices. That's the NBC censors lock onto that scene and demand it be removed, thereby distracting them from the other more sensual elements of the rest of the story that they might have taken issue with. The showering scene is shown on the blooper reels, which can be viewed on YouTube. This is the first of 2 appearances of Booker Bradshaw as Dr. Mbenga, an expert in Vulcan physiology. His second appearance is in that episode, That Which Survives, in 1969. This episode features the last production credit for showrunner Gene L. Kuhn, who resigned halfway through season 2. His replacement, John Meredith Lucas, struggled to come to terms with the show's unrelenting schedules and the budget cuts that Paramount was insisting on. NBC was also unhappy about the show's implications about sex, threatening the airing of a show that was already on the borderline of cancellation. Now, at around the 17-minute mark, the first clear close-up ever of the sickbay panel. The vertical scales are from left to right. Temperature, which is left scale in Fahrenheit and right in Celsius. Brain, which is K3, an unknown unit. Lungs, no units, but it seems to measure FRC, which is functional residual capacity in liters. Cell rate is no units. Blood is a Q5 or possibly Qs, perhaps pressure, corrected to percentage of oxygen in some mock-ups and merchandise. And blood is T2 times 10, which is blood transverse relaxation time minus the MS times 10, which is the circulation and stuff. Center symbols are the top circle is respiration, second circle is pulse, and then there's 2 legends. They adjust for normal recorder and recorder. I'm sorry, adjust for normal and recorder. Okay. So let's get to the soundtrack. And of course, that awesome soundtrack by Alexander Courage and sung by Lulie G. Norman, who is still alive. Cool. Okay. And actually, let's see. Yeah, actually, I'm just going to go with the first 2 they mentioned here. So Nancy Kovac, who played Nona, and Michael Whitney, who played Tyree. So if you want to know more about Ned Romero, who plays Krell, make sure you check out IMDb, go into cast and crew for this episode, A Private Little War, and check them out. All right, so let's take a look at Nancy. All right, Nancy Kovac is still alive. She was born March 11th, 1935. So she is 90 years old. Very cool. She's a native of Flint, Michigan, and she was a student at the University of Michigan at 15, a radio DJ at 16, a college graduate at 19, and the holder of 8 beauty titles by 20. Her professional acting career began on television in New York City, first as one of Jackie Gleason's Glee Girls, and then more prominently on the Dave Garroway Show in 1953, The Today Show back in 52, and Beat the Clock in 1950. She was in a movie with Vincent Price called Diary of a Madman in 1963, one of her more prominent roles. A stage role opened Hollywood doors for Kovac, who signed with Columbia. She later racked up an impressive list of episodic shows that she did. She was nominated for one Primetime Emmy. Okay, in 1963, she was in Jason and the Argonauts with Medea, or she played Medea in that. In The Silencers, which is a great show, she was Barbara, and that was in 1966. I believe that was one of the Matt Helm, Dean Martin spy shows. Yeah. Frankie and Johnny, in 1966, she played Nellie Bly. And in a movie called Marooned in 1969, she was Teresa Stone. All right, according to the background information on IMDb, the very last thing she worked on was Canon, that great show from 1976. She played Charlotte Frawley, and in that, she used her name Nancy Maida because she was with somebody else at that time. And the episode is called Season 5, Episode 23, Bloodlines from 76. Charlotte Frawley. Very cool. All right. And let's go ahead and take a look at the other, of course, Michael Whitney. Okay. Michael Whitney, unfortunately, we did lose him in 1983. So rest in peace, sir. He was an actor. He was born on November 21st, 1931 in Ticonderoga, New York, in upstate there. He was an actor known for Star Trek, of course, but also Darling Lily in 1970 and Doc in 1971. That was a brief documentary about Doc Holliday and the Tombstone and the OK Corral. He was married to Twiggy and Donna Jojo Colette Bailey. He died on November 30th, 1983 in New York City. And he was 52 years old. Yeah, he didn't live for very long. Okay. So besides Star Trek, as I said, in Darling Lily in 1970, he was Lieutenant George Youngblood Carson. In Doc, he played Ike Clanton in 1971. And then he was in the TV series Death Valley Days from 65 to 68. He only appeared in 2 episodes. In season 13, episode 22, he was Wild Bill Hickok in No Gun Behind His Badge. That was in 1965. And then in 1968, he was in season 16, episode 23. He played a character called Peter Lassen, and that was an episode called The Other Side of the Mountain. Alrighty, so rest in peace there, Mr. Whitney. Anybody with the name of Michael has to be good. Has to be good. Okay. All right, let's get to this next episode. And as we do, let's see if anybody has come into the chat. Alrighty. Brother Jay. Let's see. Lizzie says, Mikey happened to be awake, cats, etc., 2:30 a.m. in the morning. Oh, wow, you are early. Wow. Excuse me. Hi to Suzanne and the cats. Hello. Yes, thank you. Suzanne had to go get a few things for us. So she's away right now. But the cats are happy, I guess. They're laying around the apartment. Lizzie says, interesting info, Mikey. Well, thank you. And Brother Jay says, howdy. Just so proud to be here. No, he didn't really say that, but he says howdy. So I like to add his little thing. And of course, he says, hey, Lizzie. Hello, darling. There you go. Good to see you, Brother Jay. It is good to see you. And we got 2 people watching, of course. And just 1 like. Come on, Jay. Throw in that other like. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do eat. You know, like Chrono says. And Max. Okay. I'm getting a little psychotic lately, I think. It must be the aging. Yeah. Okay. So, in this episode, Over 3,700 people, of course, watched it. As I said, 7.4 out of 10. We give it a C plus. So Ralph Sinensky directed. John T. Dugan was the writer. Just one. And then, of course, the regular people that you all know. We will look at Diana Muldaur, of course, and Mulhall. And we will also look at a nurse played by Cindy Lee. So we'll look at those two. But first, we'll look at Diana here. As soon as we get through the trivia first. All right. Okay, as a lieutenant commander, Anne Mulhall has the distinction of being the highest ranking female Starfleet officer or character shown in the original series. The voice of Sargon was played by James Doohan. Sargon of Akkad was a Mesopotamian king. I had to say that very slow. Who, by most accounts, began ruling around 2269 BC. On the show, this episode takes place around the year 2268 AD. This episode marks George Takei's return to the series after an absence of some months while filming the Green Berets movie in 1968 with John Wayne. His last appearance was I, Mud in 1967, which was 10 episodes earlier in production order. First Star Trek appearance of Diana Muldaur. She would also appear as Miranda Jones in the episode Is There in Truth No Beauty in 1968, and of course, as Dr. Catherine Pulaski on 20 episodes of Star Trek The Next Generation from 87. Writer John T. Dugan wrote the original script of this episode after he had read an article about highly sophisticated robots. In his original draft, Sargon and Talassa continued their existence as spirits without bodies, floating around the universe. However, Gene Roddenberry, who did an uncredited rewrite on the script, changed the ending to the aliens fading out into oblivion. This led to Dugan using his pen name, John Kingsbridge, in the episode's credits. Cool. Alrighty. And like I said, we're not doing goofs. So let's take a look at soundtrack. All right. Now, in this episode, sorry, I just had to pause there for a minute. Okay, in this episode, music is credited still to Alexander Courage, although it says a small part of the theme resembles the main title music for Hollow Triumph, which is a movie back in 1948 by Saul Kaplan, who is not credited. Saul Kaplan did contribute music to numerous episodes and is so credited when applicable. And of course, sung by Louis G. Norman for the opening. All right, very cool. And of course, all filming and production took place on Paramount Studios, but in this case, we were on stage 31 and 32 of Paramount, and the filming dates were November 20th, 1967 to November 28th, 1967. So for 8 days on that one. Excuse me. Okay. Now we'll take a look at the cast and crew, and then I'll go back and check one other thing I had missed. So, all right. All right, Miss Diana Muldaur. Yep, she's still around. And she was born August 19th, 1938. So she is 87 years of age. Very cool. Yep, and she's also very well known for LA Law in 1986. And of course, as Star Trek TNG, McCloud, Born Free, The Other, and McHugh. In the 80s, Diana became the president of the Academy of Television Arts and Sciences, which is the academy that hands out the Emmy Awards. Diane's LA Law character, Rosalind Shays, was a widely discussed character in the 90s. Short after her success with LA Law, Diana decided to take a long break from acting. She was nominated for 2 Primetime Emmys, I believe, for that show. Okay. So, let's see. A couple of other things she's known for. In 1968, she played Cynthia in The Swimmer. That was the one we looked at with Burt Lancaster. That's pretty cool. And I did mention that before when Gorilla showed that movie. Chosen Survivors. Alana Fitzgerald was the character in 1974. And of course, she did appear as Rosalind Shays in 24 episodes of LA Law from 1989 to 1991. And in McCloud, she was she was one character named Chris Coughlin, and she was in 15 episodes of McCloud from 1970 to 1977. The very last thing we have her listed was in 2023. She played this character called Anat Bergman in something called Finding Hannah, and that was in 2023. And then she did, of course, voice the character of Dr. Leslie Tompkins in Batman the Animated Series for 5 episodes from 1992 to 1993. So very cool. She's also a voiceover actress. That is so cool. And she, of course, was in a movie called Imps in 1983 also. All right, cool. And let's go ahead and take a look at our last character for today. Here we go. We're looking at, let's see here. Yeah, we're looking at Cindy Lou, who plays a nurse. So take a look at her quick. And Cindy Lou is just known for Star Trek. Not much information there. She was in the one episode. That's all we know on her. So that's cool. And let's see. And Bill Blackburn, who is Lieutenant Hadley and played an android. And we don't have much on him. Okay. So that's pretty much it then for that. All right. So let's all right. So let's go back to the previous episode I mentioned. Private Little War. I just want to look at that. Okay, we mentioned that. And then let's see. And then the filming locations for A Private Little War, some of it happened, the planet surface was Bell Ranch at Santa Susana in California. And then, of course, stage 31 and 32 at Paramount. And the filming dates were September 29th, 1967 to October 6th, 1967. And we are done for today with both Get Smart and TOS. So, let's go back here. All right, so I'll let you know what's coming next week, episodes 21 and 22. And for Star Trek, those episodes are Patterns of Force, which features those nasty Germans, since we don't like to say the Yahtzees or the other thing. But I said Yahtzees, so that's not the same thing. And of course, season 2, episode 22, By Any Other Name. That is so cool. That's the one where they reduce them, the Galactic Alien Scouts, that reduce the some of the crew to cubicles without water. Yeah, that one. So that's for next week. And then, yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at one more time at Get Smart so we know which episodes are for next week there too, so I can mention them to you guys real quick from season 2. All right, so let's see here. Like I said, 21 and 22 next week. All right, so episode 21 is The Man from Yenta, Yenta. Okay. And then the second one, episode 22, is Smart Fit, The Battle of Jericho. So that is the 2 episodes from Get Smart and the 2 episodes next week. Wednesday, sometime. I just say Wednesdays every week, at least once a week, to review all 4 episodes from both shows so we can get caught up. All right. So that is it for today, folks. Okay. Yeah, we don't want that. Okay, and we don't want that. Okay, here we go. All right, so let's get back to the chat here real quick. Finish up today. So Lizzie Armstrong says, "Hi, bro, Jay, darling. Howdy, welcome." Brother Jay says, "I was diagnosed with hearing loss." Oh no, I'm so sorry, Jay. Leanna will be admitted in the hospital Friday. They moved the surgery date. Okay, well, we have major prayers going up for you and for Leanna, Brother Jay. Lizzie says, Brother Jay, hope you are okay. They are pretty helpful with hearing issues. I don't need any aid, but a little hearing loss. And Lizzie says, oh, all the best for her, Bro Jay. And Lizzie says, tell her we will be thinking of her and pray all goes well. And Brother Jay says, thank you, darling. And Lizzie, of course, with her beautiful emojis she always uses. So, okay. So, Brother Jay, I will let Suzanne, when she gets back home from her little bit of shopping she's doing, she had to pick up her meds as well. So, I'll let her know that you're going through a bit of hearing loss right now and that Leanna's new surgery date is this coming Friday. So, we'll keep that in mind. Yeah. Okay, so we got 2 likes. We got 2 people still watching, which is very cool. Two of our best friends here, our brother and our sister, both from Louisiana and Australia, collectively. Thank you, Mikey. Hope you have a good rest of your day, Suzanne and Mikey and Cats. I hope we do, Lizzie, and I'm sure we will. And I appreciate you and Brother Jay for both being here. We love you guys. So let's just say a quick prayer that we hope that everybody does well. We're praying for Leanna for her surgery for Friday. We're praying that your hearing loss is uh, taken care of by the Lord and is repaired and done correctly, and hoping for all that. So, in all that, we ask in the name of the Lord, Amen and Amen, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. There we go. So we dedicate this show to you, Lizzie, and Mr. J. So there you go. Thank you so much. Bro J and I. Yeah. There you go. Right. Bro J and you. Sure. There we go. Okay. So let's see. What do we have coming up this week? Okay. I don't know if Gorilla's doing anything on Thursday with Twilight Zone. So I'm not going to say anything about it. I just don't know what's going on. So won't say. But Friday, I do believe we still have a Waltons episode to attend to, so we're doing that on Friday night, same time, right around 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central Time in his center of the world. Saturday, I do know that Charlotte Nightstar, the werewolf, she's going to podcast, do an interview with our brother Larry from Beer Stuff Adventures, and that's going to start at 1:05, I believe, same time she always does it, there on the West Coast, 4:05 p.m. In the Eastern Time Zone. So we're going to be there for Larry. Now, I might have a show to do with Chance Bartels. I haven't heard anything yet, so I'm not going to confirm anything, but I do know the times he usually runs his nostalgic pod blast live from Atlanta, Georgia, is at 5:35 p.m. Eastern time. He's on the same time as we are here in Toronto, Canada. So hopefully we'll get a chance to do that. And then on Sunday, we've got the awesome 1 year anniversary of Mr. J and wonderful Miss Leanna. So I believe that Charlotte wants to do an interview or possibly a gathering stream, which will be a live panel stream, open and everything. So I believe that is coming up this coming Sunday. And again, same time, about 4:05 p.m. Eastern, 1:05 p.m. in the Pacific time zone. And then lastly, a Gorilla, I think he's going to be able to do his Sunday, the cinema movie he's showing this weekend is Dream Warriors from Nightmare on Elm Street. So it's Nightmare on Elm Street 3, yeah, The Dream Warriors. Great one. Great movie. Great sequel. Aw, thank you, Lizzie. I love you too. Love you too, brother Jay. Love you both. All right. We love you, darling Lizzie. Yep. Love you guys. Okay. So you never know where you're gonna find me next. So make sure you check me out. Follow me around. Make sure you subscribe today. Don't forget, hit that like button. And when you subscribe, don't forget to hit all notifications. That awesome notification bell. I really should remember to bring this down when I do a show. So don't forget that notification bell. And of course, don't forget to share it with all your friends, family, and acquaintances. Anybody that you know in the YouTube, X, Instagram, anywhere, Discord, Facebook, anybody you know in those uh, social media. And Lizzie says, cool for the weekend. Yeah, for Elle and Bro J anniversary. Yeah, gotta go. Love you, Mikey and Suzanne. Take care, Brother Jay. We love you, brother. And give all of our best to Leanna, too. We love her as well. And Lizzie, we love you, too. Hope you have a great day with your cats and everything else going on. Okay, so quickly, as Suzanne always says, leave everything in God's hands. We always do. Best piece of advice. And then, of course, don't forget Brother Larry, who always says, always be yourself. Don't try to be anything else that you're not. Always be yourself. Be that way. All right. And of course, that awesome Gene Siskel. That guy from Siskel and Ebert at the movies? Yeah. Used to work for the Chicago Tribune. Great man. Awesome guy. Wonderful philanthropist. Charitable guy and everything. And he was my favorite nerd back then. I love movie critics and critiques. So I want to thank again his family, the Gene Siskel Foundation, for allowing me to say, and now the aisle is closed. So every time that I finish my shows, our shows here, of course. So remember, God bless America, Canada, the UK, and Europe, and the rest of this world. Yeah, America, Canada, UK, and the rest of this world. Okay, I think I got everything. And remember, we only have one world, so make sure that you're out there acting as the future stewards and guardians to help future generations enjoy this earth that we live on. And let's hope we can find peace all around the world. And of course, peace from us here at Mikey Sue or at ChattyBloggerMS, standing for Mikey Sue's. So, on behalf of my wonderful wife, Suzanne, my awesome self here, and of course, my beautiful cats, Moonpie and Deja Vu, our female fur babies, we want to thank all of you for coming here on a Wednesday afternoon. We know there are other channels out there on YouTube, but I guarantee you, our channel, without any modesty, is one of the best channels out there, and it will be as long as it lasts. So, we love you all. Take care of yourselves, and of course, God bless everyone. And we'll see you next time on the Chatty Blogger MS channel. Same MS time, same MS station. There you go. Wonderful, wonderful.